What is up, guys? Welcome to my review for Supergirl Season 4, Episode 17, titled All About Eve. Now, I know this video is late, but that's just because yesterday was April Fool's Day. I wanted to take advantage of that day, so I did make an April Fool's video. Apparently, people liked it a lot, so if you want to check it out, if you haven't already, there will be a link in the top right corner of the video. So with that in mind, let's go over my review for Supergirl Season 4, Episode 17. So before I talk about the main storyline, which is all about Eve, I want to talk about the side storylines. First of all, the one with Martian Manhunter that I thought was at times pretty good, but at times pretty bad as well. I think the acting was the main problem. The acting, for some reason, I think David Harwood usually is a good actor, but in this storyline, he didn't really nail like anything at all. It felt like all the screaming and the anger from him was so incredibly forced. It didn't seem like his conflict within him about he wants to honor his father's wishes, but at the same time he's having struggles with that. I don't think he did a very good job at conveying that in this storyline. I just think the acting in this storyline was a little up and down at times, and the fact that his father's back is also very unusual. I mean, does death not matter for the Martians? Then why does Martian Manhunter even exist as a character? The whole concept of him as a character is that his race was executed and he also escaped, but if they're all dead and it doesn't really matter, then what is the point of any of that? So I do think that part of it is a little weird, but I like the conclusion, which is that John Jones finally realizes that he is the Martian Manhunter, despite the fact that he's leaving Earth for probably a couple episodes. I'm going to guess he's going to return in a pretty awesome manner in the season finale, and I actually won't mind that at all. As long as he's going to be a Martian like the entirety of that storyline or of that episode, then I honestly don't mind. So this storyline, a little up and down on the acting. The actual premise is very weird, but I do like the conclusion that John Jones finally realizes that he is the Martian Manhunter. I just really didn't like the storyline. I mean, I think it had some good parts to it, but the storyline with John Jones never turning to a Martian was just so annoying, and even the actor said that he was frustrated with that storyline, that he really didn't like it, and I agree. I think that he should be a Martian the entirety of the time, or at least as much as they can afford, which it seems like it just isn't enough. And then there's the storyline with James and his sister, which I'm not going to say was bad, but I really feel like it's leading into something that I do not want to see at all, which is a gun control episode, or maybe even some psychological issue with James or something. That's just something I don't care about at all. This storyline was just really filler for me in this episode. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't good either, and it's just not something I care about at all, so it definitely is the weak point of this episode. But then there's the main storyline of the episode, which is a continuation of the whole Lex Luthor thing. Ever since that storyline began in episode 15, the season has been pretty good in that storyline, like so much better than Supergirl typically is, so much better than Supergirl was prior to that episode in this season, and this continues it, although Lex Luthor does not appear, which is why this episode is not as good as episode 16 or 15. It seems like Lex Luthor is completely carrying the show, very similarly to how when Superman appears, he carries the show, and I think when the Legion appeared, they carried the show as well. Now, Lex Luthor is carrying the show, which is why, although this storyline is very connected to him, it's definitely not as good as the last episode or the episode before it, because Lex Luthor didn't appear. And honestly, I think he should have been in it. I don't really see any reason why he wasn't, unless if he only has a number of episodes that he's going to appear in the season, and this is one episode that he's not. I don't know why he didn't appear, but I still think this episode is still pretty good. This storyline is still pretty good, despite the fact that Lex Luthor did not appear at all. I did like the scenes between Lena and Lillian because of the ending of that storyline, or that side storyline in this main storyline, which is that Lex Luthor is not trying to save her, he's trying to kill her. I did like that moment, and I will be happy to see that on the show if it happens. It will make Lex Luthor look very cool, and also Lillian will be killed off. I've always disliked her as a character, and I still do very, very much, but outside of that, there's a part of the main storyline was Lena, Alex, and Supergirl teaming up, which is a cool team up for the most part, and my favorite moment was when Supergirl got angry about Lena using the Harrenal, but then Lena and Alex both fired back at her, which I like that moment because usually on the show they show Supergirl as being right all the time. Like in the last season, there was a whole conversation between Supergirl, an argument really between Supergirl and Imra, where Imra was using kryptonite or something, and Supergirl was completely against that, or maybe killing someone or something. But the way they showed it was that Supergirl was completely right, when in reality, in my opinion, I think Imra had a better argument. So I like the fact that Lena and Alex just fired back at her in this storyline, because she's not right about it at all, because it's very selfish to say that she shouldn't use the Harrenhal, which is a thing that would basically cure all diseases on the planet, just because Supergirl feels a little bit vulnerable, or it's just something that might go into the hands of somebody evil, which it did, but that's not a reason to not do something like that. So I do like the fact, I do like that scene, and I do like that they are becoming more self-aware about their characters and the way they write them. So there was a pretty good, but way too short, just like criminally short fight scene between everybody, like Supergirl, Lena, and Alex fighting this fourth version of Metallo in the Arrowverse. We had the first two episodes of Supergirl Season 2, and then we had the third one, which is a way better looking one from Crisis on Earth X, and then we have this fourth one in Supergirl, and I think this fight scene was good, but again, way too short, and also Metallo was taken out way too easily, especially compared to all the other three Metallos, who were, especially the one on Earth X, who was taken out by like 10 different superheroes shooting at him at the same time, and the other two who were taken out by Supergirl and Superman, or Martian Manhunter and Alex, I'm pretty sure, working together. Well, this one was just taken out by a chemical explosion or something, so I thought that this fight scene was good, but way too short, and Metallo was taken out way too easily. So honestly, I felt like this episode was not going very well, especially compared to episodes 15 and 16, which were both really good. Again, this episode had no Lex Luthor, and none of the storylines were really all that interesting, except for the main one, which was not very good right up until the end, and I think the end is where this episode got really good. Eve set a trap for Supergirl, which is a trap that I really believed would happen in this universe. Usually when they have these traps, it just feels so contrived and manufactured that Supergirl would fall for it, but this one actually I felt like she would fall for it in real life. It was a pretty clever trap, but anyway, Red Daughter as Supergirl attacks the White House, and now everybody believes that Supergirl attacked the White House because of the repeal of the Alien Amnesty Act, which is a twist that I do, not a twist, but just a story point that I do really like in this episode, and I do think that the ending of the episode was actually pretty good. It's just that the rest of the episode was okay or even bad at times, and the fact that Lex Luthor didn't appear definitely drags it down a lot, so I will give this episode an 8 out of 10. But anyway, let me know all your thoughts in the comments down below, and if you want to see my review for last week's episode, which was right on par with the week before that as the best episodes of the season, then you can check it out in the top right corner of the video. And if you like this video, make sure to leave a like, share, and subscribe, and thanks for watching.